Good afternoon, everybody. Doug Jenkins with the Findlay-Hancock County Chamber of Commerce. We are celebrating a member anniversary today. Bill Kieffer of Kieffer Associates, 5 years as a Chamber of Commerce member. Bill, thanks for joining us today.
It's great to be here.
So I was really excited when you joined. We had first met all the way, I think, back in June of 2019. And we started talking about a lot of the work that you were doing. And I've always enjoyed our conversations, but let's get people familiar with Kieffer and Associates before we talk about what these last 5 years have looked like for you.
Okay, great. So Kieffer Associates is an independent coaching and advisory firm. I primarily focus on military veteran career transition and strategic talent management work. My overall objective for Kieffer Associates is to help bridge that culture gap that stands between military veterans and civilian employers. I have seen that gap from both sides as both a transitioned service member and as an HR executive in large, complex global companies. And I've found that neither knows enough about the other. So I thought, you know what, maybe I've got a unique perspective here and something I can add value to employers and to individual veterans.
Let's talk a little bit about that gap, because I think a lot of times people think, well, it's just got to be plug and play. You want someone out of the military, you know, they're going to be disciplined and things like that. But there's language that doesn't translate. There are just different things that maybe are the same thing, but we don't know how to say, okay, this role is equal to this role in the Navy or what have you.
Yeah, Doug, you hit a really good point and a topic that I spend a lot of time talking about, and it's we are separated by common language. We all use different terms, and the military is a very specific culture. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force, whichever. We have very specific cultures and a very unique mission in American society. And we tend to speak in acronyms and terms that 93% of the population never heard. I screwed this up when I first got out. I was, years ago. I was engaged with some employer, and they said, well, what did you do in the military? And I energetically said, well, I was a 90 Alpha 5 Papa 3 Romeo.
Oh, yeah.
That meant nothing.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Them. Yeah. So I thought I'd help. And I said, well, you know what? Let me help. I was a tactical multifunctional logistics officer that was airborne, nuclear, biological, and chemical certified. And they went, so? See, it meant everything to me. It was very clear, but I didn't recognize that the employer hadn't walked my walk, and they don't talk my talk. So, you know what? I got to figure out how to learn that language before I engage with employers. So that's really a lot of the work I do now with service members, is to get them to understand how to tell their story in a way that lands well on employers' ears.
One of the things that's been really great to see is how over these last 5 years that you've grown, including the launch of a foundation, I believe, and tell us what that allows you to do.
Yeah. So I've authored 2 books on career transition. You can see them shamelessly plugged right there on my poster, whichever I need to point.
Usually they're behind me. I don't know what happened to them, but I had them back there at one point.
Well, you're probably on your desk because you're reading them. See, that's probably it, right? Yeah. So the second book came out in 2023. It's titled Veteran Career Journey, co-authored with my co-founder of veterancareerjourney.org, a nonprofit that is specifically focused, even more so laser focused, on helping service members and veterans understand that culture gap before they try to step into transition. Our ultimate mission is to have them be prepared for success before, during, and after their transition, and to reduce the instances of veteran suicide.
Which is a huge, huge topic. And I know we talk a lot about around here. You've been connected with our Hancock County Veteran Services, I think, talking about that subject and more. But what's interesting beyond that is you've had the chance to talk about this, not just locally, not just in Northwest Ohio, but you've spent plenty of time in the nation's capital talking about these issues as well.
I get all around the nation. Since 2018, I have trained over 2,000 service members and veterans all across the country, and I've had coaching clients as far away as Baghdad and Belgium. So yeah, I work all over the world. The offshore stuff is virtual, but yeah, I get to multiple military installations every year. I just returned from last week. I was down at Fort Lee, Virginia, working with great sustainment professionals out of the Army and Navy from the Fort Lee, Richmond, Greater Tidewater area. In March, I'll be at 7 different military installations in March alone. And I do a lot of work. Again, I do a lot of work virtually, but my goal is to get in person with
Mhm.
these folks across the country. So, yeah.
And it's been a quick start to 2026 for you as well. As we were talking right before we started here, already have talked to more than 100 people about this.
I had a nice crowd down at Fort Lee, Virginia. I had a large crowd with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hiring Our Heroes program.
Hmm.
Their military district of Washington. I've been engaged with them for several years now, and I deliver a first 90 days program, it's called, to help their fellows prepare for their fellowships, internships with different companies. So I had 70 folks on that one call. Um, I just did a webcast, sorry, with Wounded Warrior Project last week also. So it's been a busy start to January.
And I think we've talked about having you come down to Finley and speak at one of our stronger business series events here later this year too. So we'll get that put together. Bill, before we let you go, I always like to hear about success stories with this because you're hitting a wide range of people, and certainly there's plenty of topics. But if you look at just the last year, what's a success story in helping someone make this transition from military to civilian life and getting them into the workplace?
Yeah, so I had a very senior special operations officer who was not particularly sure what he wanted to do when his retirement, in this case, he had years enough to retire, came. So we just kind of worked through I have a little model I use to help folks define success because, success looks different to everybody.
Mhm.
And I say, what are you passionate about? What are you capable of? And what are the practical realities of your situation? And working with him, he found a job with a international contractor that just checked all his blocks. I stay in contact with the folks that I've coached, and he's performing well. He's happy. His family's good. He gets to go do those things he's passionate about to leverage the capabilities that he brings with him. And it all fits inside the practical realities of his overall life situation. So yeah, real good success story, and we've got a whole bunch of them. So,
Well,
but
it's
like I said, for some folks, success is I need a quiet 9 to 5 at home. Other folks need a little more adventure. So we work with folks to define what good looks like, and how we can help get them from here to there.
there's definitely no one right path, but there's help along that journey is much appreciated. Bill, if someone, maybe someone's watching this and they know someone who's getting ready to get out of the military, and they might need some help with that transition, or maybe someone wants to have you come in and talk to their organization, something like that, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So there's 4 ways, really. I mean, they're free to call me. Give me a call. My phone number is 419-205-7072. 2 different emails, Bill at Kieffer, Kieffer dash associates.com, or Bill at veterancareerjourney.org. If folks are on LinkedIn, I am all over LinkedIn. William E. Bill Kieffer on LinkedIn.
Be sure to connect with Bill. Bill, we've appreciated having you on as a member. I always love picking your brain about things and also having lunch with you from time. I got to get up and have lunch with you here sometime.
Wow, we got to get together.
All right. Thanks again for being a chamber member and joining us today. On the behalf of Bill Kieffer, I'm Doug Jenkins. Have a great afternoon, everybody.